ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्या सम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। ॐ नमः प्रणवार्थाय शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ॐ विदितानमया विशदैककला न च किञ्चन काञ्चनमस्ति गुरो द्रुतमेव विदेहि कृपां सहजां भव शङ्कर देशिक मे शरणं। समस्त ब्रह्म विद्या आचार्येभ्यो नमः। ऋषिभ्यो नमः। मुनिभ्यो नमः। गुरुभ्यो नमः। देवताभ्यो नमः। ओम श्री वेदव्यास वैशंपायन याज्ञवल्क्य आद्य शंकराचार्यवर्यादि गुरुभ्यो नमः। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम अथ कृष्ण यजुर्वेदांतर्गत तैत्तिरीय उपनिषद पारायणं तृतीया भृगुवल्ली. We have to do the Parayanam of Bhruguvalli, the third one. Okay. ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ भृगुर्वैवारुणिः वरुणं पितरमुपससार अधीः भगवो ब्रह्मेति तस्मा एतत् प्रोवाच। अन्नं प्राणं चक्षुश्रोत्रं मनोवाचमिति तगम्होवाच। यतो वा इमानि भूतानि जायन्ते येन जातानि जीवन्ति यत्प्रयन्त्यपि संविशन्ति तद्विजिज्ञासस्व तद्ब्रह्मेति स तपोतप्यत स तपस्तप्त्वा अन्नं ब्रह्मेति व्यजानात्। अन्नाद्येव खल्विमानि भूतानि जायन्ते अन्नेन जातानि जीवन्ति अन्नं प्रयन्त्यपि संविशन्तीति तद्विज्ञाय पुनरेव वरुणं पितरमुपससार अधीः भगवो ब्रह्मेति तगुंहोवाच। तपसा ब्रह्म विजिज्ञासस्व तपो ब्रह्मेति स तपोतप्यत स तपस्तप्त्वा प्राणो ब्रह्मेति व्यजानात्। प्राणाद्येव खल्विमानि भूतानि जायन्ते प्राणेन जातानि जीवन्ति प्राणं प्रयन्त्यपि संविशन्तीति तद्विज्ञाय पुनरेव वरुणं पितरमुपससार अधीः भगवो ब्रह्मेति तगम्होवाच। तपसा ब्रह्म विजिज्ञासस्व तपो ब्रह्मेति स तपोतप्यत स तपस्तप्त्वा मनो ब्रह्मेति व्यजानात्। मनसो ह्येव खल्विमानि भूतानि जायन्ते मनसा जातानि जीवन्ति मनः प्रयन्त्यपि संविशन्तीति तद्विज्ञाय पुनरेव वरुणं पितरमुपससार अधीः भगवो ब्रह्मेति तगम्होवाच। तपसा ब्रह्म विजिज्ञासस्व तपो ब्रह्मेति स तपोतप्यत स तपस्तप्त्वा विज्ञानं ब्रह्मेति व्यजानात्। विज्ञानाध्येव खल्विमानि भूतानि जायन्ते विज्ञानेन जातानि जीवन्ति विज्ञानं प्रयन्त्यपि संविशन्तीति तद्विज्ञाय पुनरेव वरुणं पितरमुपससार अधीः भगवो ब्रह्मेति तगुं होवाच तपसा ब्रह्म विजिज्ञासस्व तपो ब्रह्मेति स तपोतप्यत स तपस्तप्त्वा आनन्दो ब्रह्मेति व्यजानात् आनन्दाध्येव खल्विमानि भूतानि जायन्ते आनन्देन जातानि जीवन्ति आनन्दं प्रयन्त्यपि संविशन्तीति सैषा भार्गवी वारुणी विद्या परमे व्योमन् प्रतिष्ठिता य एवं वेद प्रतिष्ठति अन्नवानन्नादो भवति महान् भवति प्रजया पशुभिर्ब्रह्मवर्चसेन महान् कीर्त्या ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ अथ श्री कृष्णयजुर्वेदान्तर्गत तैत्तिरीय उपनिषद ॐ यस्माज्जातं जगत्सर्वं यस्मिन्नेव प्रलीयते येनेदं धार्यते चैव तस्मै ज्ञानात्मने नमः यैरिमे गुरुभिः पूर्वं पदवाक्यप्रमाणतः व्याख्याताः सर्ववेदान्ताः तान् नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहं तैत्तिरीयकसारस्य मयाचार्यप्रसादतः विस्पष्टार्थरुचीनां हि व्याख्येयं सम्प्रणीयते ओमथ प्रथमा शिक्षा वल्ली प्रथमोऽनुवाकः शान्तिमन्त्रः ॐ शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ अथ सप्तमोऽनुवाकः पृथिव्यन्तरिक्षं द्यौर्दिशो वान्तरदिशाः अग्निर्वायुरादित्यश्चन्द्रमा नक्षत्राणि आप ओषधयो वनस्पतय आकाश आत्मा इत्यधिभूतम् अथाध्यात्मं प्राणो व्यानोपान उदानः समानः चक्षुश्रोत्रं मनोवाक्त्वक चर्ममागस्सर्गस्नावास्थिमज्जा एतदधिविधाय ऋषिरवोचत पाङ्क्तं वा इदगुं सर्वं पाङ्क्तेनैव पाङ्क्तग्गः स्पृणोतीति ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ समस्तब्रह्मविद्या आचार्येभ्यो नमः ऋषिभ्यो नमः मुनिभ्यो नमः गुरुभ्यो नमः देवताभ्यो नमः श्रीवेदव्यासवैशम्पायन याज्ञवल्क्याद्य शङ्कराचार्यवर्यादि गुरुभ्यो नमः अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः. Having saluted all the masters like every day, first thing is throughout the day we should be able to engage ourselves in Adhyatmika sadhana with all the clarity. If the entire day we are not able to engage in the sadhana, at least we should be taking this opportunity of our morning, evening classes as the sadhana and take those classes very sincerely and seriously. At least this much of 1 hour of morning, evening classes, we take it as sadhana and scrupulously, thoroughly, fully, while involving in them, if we can get maximum benefit out of it. Not only that 1 hour is utilized, not only we become clear about some things, but this is what later on inspires us to become the sadhaka for the entire day. And all said and done, sadhana has to be done only by us all through the day, in and through all the situations. Then only in and through all the timings, places, situations, then only the final goal is achieved. There is no second thought about it. So the first thing today is for us it is God's krupa, Guru's krupa that they are giving us satsanga and they are giving us convenience. So the first thought is regularly coming to our classes is itself is a greatest sadhana from our side. Never give it up. If this is given up, then whatever little bit is learned, even though it is vague, even that also goes away. And whatever little bit we could withdraw from the world, at least during the class, that also goes away. Then we totally get victimized both by our inner own mind and senses and body, and also victimized by the outer world, which is expression of that Maya. Once again we get into those old ruts of 100% worldliness, again to come back onto this great path, the glorious path, the divine spiritual path. How much time, efforts it takes, we don't know. Therefore, let us every moment become intelligent, and the expression of intelligence is what we are given an opportunity, that is that of satsang, its greatness, its importance. We always become aware of it and never by any reason lose or miss out with our classes. First thing is this. If this is also not done, you can see what is the people around us are doing when even class is not heard. Totally 100% absolutely worldly, gathering more and more vasanas, creating more and more what do you say, the chaos and confusions to them. We are little better placed, not the best, then at least we are coming to our regular study of Upanishads. Point one, this is first one. So commitment is that place of information, that place of inspiration, that place of empowerment, divinely called as my satsang, in which my guru, my lord is coming to bless me. I am not going to give it up at any cost, come what may, come any obligations, come any health issues, come what may, even if any urgency, I may go out, but immediately come back on to the track. And mind you, I don't think as you two, three are definitely are convinced, but other people we can't convince. It is the only thing called as satsanga where we start protecting ourselves from ourselves. And this was so emphatically explained to us, so thoroughly told to us by Lord Krishna in the recently concluded 26th chapter of this 11th skanda of Bhagavatam, where he so gloriously spoke about the Satsanga Mahima and the Santa Mahima. Minus Satsanga, minus being in touch with Shastra, minus listening from the Master, the life will be lived only according to our own vasanas, only according to the whims and fancies of the mind, which has no proper means, no end, except pulling us down and down to the jiva level, to the deha level, to the worldly level, to the samsara level, to the level of destruction. There is no doubt at all in that. So become Gambhira in intelligence in the aspect of knowing value of our satsanga, therefore never devaluing or leaving it for any reason. Be committed in this. Let others learn from us and be regular, not that we get carried away by the people who have so become worldly that they are not able to spare the time for satsanga. If we get guided by them, then we are misguided by our own mistakes, by our own non thinking or ignorance. So, first thing in life is committed to satsanga till the last moment of life. That 1 hour, 2 hour, morning, evening, whichever the classes we are able to attend, in which the Shastra is taught. Okay. Second point in our introduction today is when we are coming to the satsanga, particularly such type of satsangas, where the traditionally, systematically taught Upanishad is being discussed. feel respect, reverence towards that, as well as gratefulness, and feel that feeling of speciality, that we are not a very low level of ordinary seekers, that once in a while to somebody or the other we go and listen on one topic very vaguely and feel satisfied with that. We are not that category. We are into the category of the Rishi Guru Muni Parampara, which is coming right from the beginning of creation, in which through the Parampara they taught the knowledge of the truth substantially through the Upanishads themselves, through the acme of the Vedas, the Vedanta itself. So we are specially blessed, not everybody. Therefore, feel that self-respect ki we are the students of the Upanishads. We are the students of the Vedanta. We are the students of the truth. We are the students of the liberating Tattva Jnanam, Atma Jnanam, the reality through the systematic study of Upanishads. It will not happen everywhere. Even if you go to big ashramas, they just chant the main mantras and some meaning they say, and they say it is over. In our classes is not like that. Every mantra we are chanting, and meaning of every mantra we are seeing. Bhashyam we are chanting, we are trying to understand through the Bhashyam what is said. Therefore, the sacredness of our classes, first thing we said was the utility and the beauty of our morning evening classes. Second is the value, the divinity, the sacredness of these classes, that we have to know. That much intelligent if you are not, then we will lose this opportunity. Like, how do we lose good people in our life? How do we lose our good opportunities? Only by non thinking, therefore only by inadvertence. कैसे मौका हम गवाते जिंदगी में, इसी तरह से हमें नहीं गवाना चाहिए. If that stage of not missing the opportunities, if that minimum stage of maturity doesn't come, then we are not at all lucky, we are not at all hardworking, we are not at all intelligent. We should know what is that which is blessing us, guiding us, what is therefore the great thing, how much value, importance we have to give to it. ये तो कॉमन सेंस होना चाहिए. The same thing we do for the world. What eating gives me joy, what eating gives me the comfort, place staying, that's all bhoga yukta intelligence. What we are talking about is intelligence to become the yoga yukta jiva, yoga yukta sadhaka. So, the sacredness of our study. Therefore, the respect and reverence to this study along with our regularity, sincerity, because this is the only place where we are allowed to be in touch with the tattva or the truth. If this place is gone, like in the world, the only temple is the place where the Lord is reminded of. If you don't go to the temple at all, how we are never ever remembered of the God, and therefore we are always in the world as worldly, fully engaged with all our personality only in the world, missing the entire joy of being devoted to the Bhagavan by going to the temple. In the same way, by not being regular in our satsang and giving up this one, we are just caught up in the world completely. Thereafter, no God, nobody in the world can protect us. And the protection is only by being spiritual. There's no other protection. There's no doubt at all regarding that. Second thing is the sacredness, the greatness of this particular pursuit. Third one is what? When we are studying the Upanishad, though it is very tough in the beginning, but with our consistency, regularity, with also our other efforts of making our personality fit to study the Shastras, to study the theme given here, it also is not one day's process. It may take few lives wherein I prepare all my inner faculties fit enough to study what is taught by the Guru. At that level, our attempt is what? Our attempt is to be able to understand each and every word and sentence and the whole paragraph or the entire theme, what is said in that Upanishad intellectually. And in that, when we start understanding intellectually, we get developed in our conviction. What is the conviction that is to be developed? When we apply our intellect to understand the thing, especially the Upanishads. So I am applying my intellect to understand what is taught in the Upanishads. When I am applying my intellect to understand what is taught in the Upanishad, The two convictions talked about are one, the Shastra, especially the Upanishad, is indicating the absolute truth as the goal. Again, I am pausing here. It is not the sentence as we say it every day. Sentence is same, but today the way of saying is little deeper. The Upanishads Brahma Vidya is indicating to us that Parabrahma Paramatma alone is the goal, because he alone is the truth, because he alone is the reality, because he alone is the substratum of the entire world, because he alone is the self in us all. Anything other than this is the mithya, is maya, is unreal, is projected. Therefore, involving in it is not only the sign of ignorance, but involving in it also is the cause of all the janma marana dukkha samsara. Is this conviction coming day by day? Then our Upanishad study, first part is done. Second, the same Upanishad, while indicating that truth alone is as the goal, indicates to us the means to reach to that goal from the place where we are. How to reach? So, through the study of Upanishad, if I am able to assess where do I stand, if I am able to understand, therefore, what are the steps involved to step by step travel in the spiritual path of self unfoldment, then we are studying Upanishad. And this is the only thing the Upanishad talks. Parabrahma Paramatma is a laksha which gives liberation when you reach out. And for that, these are the variety of sadhanas to be pursued from where you stand now. So, first thing is what? Regularity to the classes. Second is what? Knowing the sacredness of these classes. Third is what? Having known the sacredness of this, applying our intellect every day, trying to catch what is taught there in that particular portion of the Upanishad. Every day. And in that, the goal is indicated, the means are indicated. Goal is indicated, means are indicated. And becoming thorough about the conviction about the goal and means, as much we are able to do at home, after the class, before the class, so much we try to walk in that path understood towards the goal. The more we are conscious about it, the more we are serious about it, the more we are genuine about it, to that extent we can see the progress happening in our own spiritual life. What is the growth or progress in spiritual life? Life is, listen, three, four things. More and more we are becoming contemplation oriented. More and more we are becoming aware about what is truth, what is untruth. More and more we are associating, identifying with the truth, with the reality, and lesser our mind or vyavahara is in the untrue world. Consequently, we see, because toward the untrue world our attention is less, all the dukkha comes from all this untrue, unreal mithya jagat only. Therefore, because we are reducing our involvement, our dukkha shatam, dukkha percentage also goes on reducing. Secondly, because we are nearing to the reality, nature of reality being Anandam, we start finding that comfortable, effortless, peaceful joy or bliss in us, which is inexplicable. That should be the difference. Slowly starts happening. Definitely, when we do our day as a spiritual sadhana, when we spend our day as sadhana. So, each of these things are very essential. If I don't have Shraddha Bhakti to the Guru Shastra as well as the theme, I never come to the Satsanga, I am lost in the world. Very lowest level of never evolving Jiva he is. He is just in a human body, but a Jiva equivalent to Pashu. If a Jiva is becoming sadhaka to know the Siddhi, first thing is classes, Satsangam. Second is value of the Satsangam consciously understood. Then every topic when discussed, thoroughly it is understood. In that, the goal is indicated, means are indicated. Throughout the day, only doing our sadhana to know the truth. Only doing our sadhana to know the self or the goal indicated. no other thing should be important to us, because all is Maya, all is Mithya, all is going to bind us more and more, and any day or someday, all of that thing has to be given up only. If we really want to grow in our happiness, if we really want to grow in our liberation. There's no way, there's no alternative. And that is why the highest evolved people called as the Rishis Munis, in their highest experience of liberation, have given us this highest knowledge of scriptures in which the highest goal and means are indicated. Anything other than this is worldly, and anything worldly is binding. Be convinced about it more and more. In this way, day by day, month by month, year by year, when we spend our life, then this subtlety happens. The clarity comes to us. The unfoldment happens. In that light, we know, we laugh at our own past lives, how we were so vigorously involved in the world with the depth of the ignorance and illusion about the world taken as real and getting kicked by our own illusions, kicked by our own delusions, kicked by our own misconceptions. The world never kicked me, the people never troubled me, the situations never made me miserable. What made me miserable and kicked and frustrated is my own illusory involvements in the world. Like the Urvashi never made Pururava miserable. Please attentive. Be careful about this thought. Pururava got miserable because of his own inner mind's illusion, delusion. He thought she to be permanent. He thought she to be the source of happiness. Rather, more than that, he thought the happiness is there at the Anna Prana Manomaya level. The Ananda is not at this level. If a person seeks the happiness through Anna Prana Mana, that person alone runs behind the world for the emotional securities, for the indulgences in the objects, for the physical comforts. The one who discovers that these upadhis are jada, they cannot give the ananda, ananda belongs to the atma, then he tries to transcend anna prana mano. When these three themselves are transcended, then how can that person be involved in the world whose purpose is only to satiate our desires at these three levels? That joy, that subtlety comes. That is not the sign one is becoming Mahatma. Mahatma is not a person respected outside in the world. वो तो बात की बात है. But he is slowly nearing to the fourth Vyahruti, the Mahad Vyahruti. The Mahat is Brahma later on, Mahat Brahma. So this is how in spirituality the growth means. Self is the source of Anandam. I am searching out that self. Self is the source of security. I am searching and trying to establish in that there self. Self is the most permanent thing, and I am reaching to identify myself with that. Other than everything is not self, everything is illusory, everything is binding. Unknowingly, I was caught up. Whoever are guiding me, they were also guiding me in that direction because they know only that. Now, through the Guru Parampara Kripa, while studying the Upanishads, we are now understanding convincingly, then shifting our entire life's orientation towards the inner journey, no more outer. This is how we have to help ourselves through the Upanishad Brahma Vidya, day by day, year by year, life by life, and reach near to the truth. Yes, it is difficult. It is entire life consuming. It seeks so much of attention. It seeks so much of the efforts. There's no doubt. But remember, the result, the reward is how great, how grand, how glorious, how spectacular that for the entire future we are freed from the bondage of Janma Marana. We are in the absolute bliss of the self which is eternal, which is immutable, which is immortal. याद रखो, समझ रहे ना उस आनंद का कितना कीमत है. Then for the sake of that Atma Ananda, Brahma Ananda, any price paid, any efforts put, any sacrifices done are worthy things only. If not, if the self is not sought, then you are in the not self, which is delusory. Then all your efforts are delusory, your small little pleasures also delusory. Then the whole miseries are real, because they don't appear as delusion, because we are not able to give up our miseries. We are not able to give up our disappointments. We are not able to give up our dejections, our being cheated by the people, etc. ये सब संसार है, छूटता नहीं है जिंदगी में, याद रखना. Our disappointment, frustrations in the world will never end unless we reach to a certain heights and stages in spiritual understandings, spiritual practices, spiritual experiences. बिना आध्यात्मिकता का, परिपक्वता के बिना हम जगत के दुखों से, संसारों से परे नहीं हो सकते, नहीं हो सकते, नहीं हो सकते. जगत इंक्लूड्स द माइंड. The worries, vagaries, frustrations of the mind and the troubles of the world can never end. एक जाएगा तो दूसरा आएगा, दूसरा जाएगा तो तीसरा आएगा. इस तरह करोड़ वाला जाएगा, उसका आगे वाला भी आता ही रहेगा. समस्या, problems will keep on coming, frustrations will keep on happening, miseries will go on suffering. The way and the only way and the one and the only way is spirituality. Take it written today and look into your own lives. Whenever you are at the feet of Lord in devotion, whenever you are at the feet of Shruti Mata in contemplation on the truth, that is the only moment you are freed from miseries, disappointments. The moment we have gone away from the pursuit of the spirituality, we are not only becoming miserable because of past, every moment we are adding the causes for our future misery. Because we involve in the world, we create raga dvesha in our heart, we create all the vasanas. So that is going to become make me miserable tomorrow, day after. नहीं किया spirituality, तो मैंने अपने आप को तबाह ही किया. That is what the meaning of ye kecha atmahano janaha. Those who are not pursuing spiritual path, instead of that, those who are involving only in the worldliness, they are suicidal. वो आत्महत्या कर रहे हैं. That's a fact. So from that portals of highest realization, the gurus, rishis shouting at the pitch of their voice, oh my dear friends, anything other than the truth being mithya or illusory, it will not give happiness. If at all gives it happiness, it is illusory only, but it will certainly give you the misery, because your pursuit itself is wrong. So, having done this much, now every of the prakarana or the anuvakam. Now we are coming to our text. We are studying the Krishna Yajurveda Antargata, Taittiriya Aranyaka Antargata, Taittiriya Shakha Antargata, Taittiriya Upanishad with three vallis. Siksha Brahmananda Bhragu. In the Siksha Valli, seventh anuvaka we are concluding. Now become conscious and aware about every anuvaka, whether it is Shanno Mitraha, Shiksham Vyakyasyamaha, then Sagamhitaya Upanishadam Vyakyasyamaha, Yaschandasa Mrishabha, Avahanti Vitanvanaha, or Bhurva Suritiva Etastisro Vyavraha, or Sayeshontar Hridaya Akashaha. These are the sixth anuvakas we saw. Seventh one is Prithivya Antariksham Devar Disho Antara Disha. In that every whole paragraph क्या हमको सिखा रहा है at the gross level and very subtly as guided by Bhagwan Adi Shankara. In that, be attentive. It was already told 20 minutes back, 15 minutes back. What is the goal to be reached to? What is the sadhana to be done? Now let us summarize all that so that it becomes easy. Goal to be reached to is simply identifying with the totality. Sadhana is to reject the individual and do the service for the total. Service includes the physical service, the monetary service. They are at the very gross outer world level. The real service, the inner service. In the inner service, at each and every thought of mine, I am only planning for, praying for, sending the vibrations for the total, not for the individual. This is the means. What is the goal then? Being identified with the totality. And the difference between being individual, being total is what? When we are at the total level of vision, we are at the total level of thinking, when we are at the total level of planning, when we are at total level of execution of the plans, all the total resources are under our command. That is called as Anandam bliss. Whereas at the level of individuality, all the resources are under our own beggary. Only when we request them, beg them, and that too after doing a slave work, that we are provided with small little things when we are at the individual level. At the total level, they are freely supplied. Means what? Even through the resources, you want to be happy. At the totality level of life, the resources are freely given. Are you understanding? At the individual level, the resources will not be given because you are individual. You have to beg. You have to work hard. You have to struggle. But if the vision is developed to look from the total standpoint, visualize from the total standpoint, think, plan, decide, execute, all the resources are given. There were true resources, and total person of total vision can be more joyful because all resources are at his disposal. But he will not use those resources for his happiness. He uses them for the total service. His goal is even beyond this contrasting individuality totality. His goal is beyond even the conceptual totality to the reality which has got the Satchit Ananda as the truth in that, or the theme in that, or the Lakshana in that. So, this is what the summary of all the seven Anuvakas in short. From the individual to the total in our approach. It becomes very difficult right from the beginning because of the habit of living only at the individual level and thinking that that is the only way. We were caught up in this notion from millions of lives. I means only these panchakoshas. Therefore, for me, the life means only living at this level. Therefore, the happiness to me is only when I cater to desires and needs of only this. And we are never able to understand that we are caught up in this because of we are miserable because of only we are caught up in this. Like when I am loving some person, when that love is not universal, if it is personalized, that is called as attachment. And that attachment gives me throughout life misery, and getting bound in trying to get the favors from that point of attachment. I always get frustrated. In that frustration, never ever it clicks to me that why should I am attaching? I should love. When I am loving, I should love the entire universe. Why I am caught up this in one particular person or thing? That thought never clicks because we are caught up in that. Otherwise, the joy is only in love, and the love can be or should be universal, which we'll be studying in the further portions. The joy is in the universal love, and it is possible in us. Every tree, plant, animal, all of them हमको प्रेम करना चाहिए हम. We're enjoying that. Instead of that, are we not caught up in the wife or the husband or the children or the brothers or the friends? This is what is giving us misery. वो बंदा मेरा बात नहीं सुन रहा है, मैं जो कहता हूँ नहीं कर रहा है. These are all attachments. Why should he listen to you? Why should he talk to you? Why should he express all the goodwill or pleasantries to you? All of them are bondage only. Because I am an individual, I take that person as individual, I attach to that person and I expect from that person. Or I expect and then get attached. And never ever any individual made any other individual fully happy, continuously happy. And when the happiness is not full and not continuous, it is misery only. When the happiness is not full, when it is not continuous, it is only misery. In fact, on the name of happiness, we are only becoming miserable in this world. Missing our chance of becoming truly happy. And true happiness is only in spirituality. It cannot be in the world at all. Come what may kitna we don't know. Maybe little pleasures will be there, but not the everlasting, endless, sublime, independent happiness. नहीं होगा दुनिया में चाहे कुछ भी करो. So Upanishads are talking from that height of universality and joy in serving, not getting. And if you're all if you want to be happy in getting, get yourself into the identification of the absolute truth, the self, the reality, which is nowhere outside. It is in you, within you, behind your own superficial panchakoshas. That will be the entire theme in the coming Vallis. But in these Vallis so far, especially from the third one, when Samhita Upanishad is taught. Panchasu adhikaraneshu adhilokam adhijyotisham adhividyam adhiprajam adhidhyatvam. There, the attention is on the totality and the substratum of the totality called as Mahat Brahma. To the Mahat Brahma, the substratum is Parabrahma. Our goal is not Mahat Brahma, but Parabrahma. But Mahat Brahma is very essential in between, because unless we are given a tangible, substantial goal, right now we cannot focus. Therefore, the Mahat Brahma, though is unperceivable also, but at least conceptualized. Because I, as an individual, am accepting the concept of individuality. Therefore, the concept of totality also easy for me to accept. Both are concepts in compared to the reality. Reality alone is real. Everything else is concept. Individual concept is making me bind with individual upadhi and trying to eke out happiness and becoming miserable. Whereas when I try to make everybody happy, in turn I am becoming identified with the concept as totality. Totality is always in Ananda. What Ananda? Not Brahmananda, but the Ananda which I was seeking in the world as an individual. In the Paramatma, neither individual nor total nor objects nor the upadhis nor seeking Ananda from them. It is only inner spiritual blissful Ananda. Uska alag category. That we become qualified only when we become freed from the individuality. Individuality we can become free only when we come to identify with the totality. In another case, some of the people direct from the individuality by many lives of upasanas and sadhanas get into realization after knowing the truth or self-realization. Then you can see them working for the totality, not for any individual. In all cases, individuality is a problem, and my individuality is my problem. And when I take others also as individuals like me, they are also problem to me. Neither I am an individual nor they are individual. Absolutely, both of us are the part of the total. The total is called as Mahat. The other three are called, or other individuality is called as other Vyahrutis. They are at the gross level, subtle level, causal level. Therefore, the three Vyahrutis. But all of them are directed all the time with the totality called as Mahat. Our vision should develop to that. Our vision should develop to the Mahat Brahma level, the totality level, and remain in that, never come to the individual level. Individual is there, individual is taken into account. Through individual only we have to perform. All that are over. But the identity only with the individual has to be dropped. Then the expectation of sukha and comfort only to the individual we have to transcend to the level of total. So our vision, our thinking, our planning should be only for samashti. Then only we are freed from the vyashti, because the vyashti alone is bondage. Even this much clarity will not come to us unless thoroughly we listen to our shastras from the Guru. Mayara, Mora, Tora, Tai, Yehi Maya. Me and mine and you and yours. This is Maya. And what is the transcendence of Maya? All of us are hooked to one ultimate truth, one ultimate infinite totality. व्यवहार की बात कह रहा हूं मैं. Spirituality starts when we inquire about what is that even beyond the total. And that is nothing but one pure Satchit Ananda Brahma. In that, neither individual nor total, nor gross, nor subtle, nor causal. Therefore, nor individual fighting, nor the individual frustration, nor the struggle of the individual because of total. ये सारा वहाँ लुप्त होता है, disappear होता है. It is an infinite bliss of being Satchit. I am the Sat, I am the Chit, therefore I am Ananda. That is the ultimate, which is long way. We may reach there after 10, 20 lives. But for that, the first step is come out of all individual frustrations. The only way is what? Think from total. Before that, there is another stage, but that is not taught in Upanishad, therefore, we are not talking it. It is a part of samsara only, but it is helpful. But we are not discussing it. What is that? Stopping to think from me, the individual. When I start to think from you, the person other than me, then at least some dukkha of mine goes away. My bondage goes away. But this thinking from your stand also is a samsara. Because in that again I am accepting you also as an isolated individual. That is helpful. Like you didn't come to class, then I become miserable. Now I become miserable because I thought from myself standpoint. When I think from your standpoint, if for some genuine reason only you didn't come, and my misery is gone when I think that way and accept. That way problem is solved, temporary. But you and my difference is always remaining. Then what is the best way to see whether you come to class or not, whether I do class or not? This is Ishvara Kripa. Like this, in million places, the Lord is making these things happen. Among them, one is this one. Like here, one person is speaking, others are listening. Like that, in thousand places, it is happening. There is nothing new, there is nothing special, there is nothing great. See the vision of total. While doing so, the purpose of me as a Vakta is what? Doing justice to the speech. And what the purpose of that? To become clear in my own sadhana understanding, to also clear my debts to the Rishi Parampara. So if I am in this clarity, ऋषि परंपरा ऋण चुकाने के लिए श्रुति माता को धन्यवाद व्यक्त करने के लिए बाहर मैं शास्त्र का पठन करा रहा हूँ. I am teaching. But inside, it is strengthening my conviction about the ultimate goal. In that process, I do my best. Other than that, everything is samsara. I need not worry about it. He takes care. If I am in this mood, where is the misery? Is it not? In the same way, what we are taught so far in the seven anuvakas is look from the samashti drushti, not the vyashti drushti. So whether it is Samhita Upanishad, it was the same. Whether it is Vyahrati Upanishad, it was same. Whether it is Hridayakasha Antargata Jiva recognized and is made to eject out of the Vyapohe Shirsha Kapale and made to identify with Agnivayu Aditya, subsequently with the Mahat Brahma, all of that is going into the totality zone. So I told you individual to total, gross to subtle. याद recline इसको. Whether you thoroughly understand it or not, but these are the facts. Note them somewhere. Spiritual sadhana मतलब व्यष्टि से समष्टि में, स्थूल सूक्ष्म कारण से परमात्मा. उसमें फिर स्थूल से सूक्ष्म, सूक्ष्म से कारण, कारण से परमात्मा. This is what spiritual journey all about. All about. Now, in the seventh Anuvaka, come to the point. What are we doing is the Mahat Brahma Upasana only, which is being taught right from beginning. In this, the technical Upasana is PAAKTHA Paddhati. In the fifth and sixth Upasana Vyahrutis, it was the what do you call the Vyahruti Upasana and also Jiva lifted to the total. I discovered my identity in the heart, that I was only permeating in this body, identifying with that and with this particular mind, and struggling to eke out happiness with that. But this aham is rejected out of the particular upadhi, and that capacity will come only as long as we are in this body, have used this upadhi to serve the total. उसके बाद ही अग्निवायु आदित्य तत्व से तादात्मता मिलेगा. भूरित्यग्नौ प्रतिष्ठति भुवरिति वायौ स्वरित्यादित्ये then मह इति ब्रह्मणि. Remember, don't forget, every day or 3 days once we are reminding it so that the thought becomes clear. And all of that is happening in the contemplation. In the contemplation, meditation, or imagination, you can plan for the entire globe and universe. But when it comes to the activity, you can only help your neighbors, your family members. उतना ही फिजिकल काम हम इतना ही कर सकते हैं, लेकिन हृदय में समष्टि से हम तादाद. Like in mind, I can close eyes and say the entire universe, jivas are there, whoever are there, सबको खाना मिल जाए. That contemplation is done. But as regard the food is concerned, with my capacity, I can only give to my neighbor or my family members. Is it not? This doing seva to the people around is practical sadhana. That is sufficient. अब कितना कराना है, the Ishvara decides. I may teach to 2 people today, 2 lakh people tomorrow. That is external. That Lord decides. But internally, every jiva should understand spirituality. That should be my vision. In the same way, I serve, so far I am serving only my Anna Prana Mana. Now, practically, out around, I serve the Anna Prana Mana of whoever are coming across me, coming. But in the heart, on the seat of contemplation or prayer, I have to serve for the Anna Prana Mana of the whole universe. That is called shifting our attention identity from individual to total. So the theory of the total is expressed through the practice of serving the people around us, irrespective of any differentiation. And while doing so, what we have to feel or know is, I am coming out of the identity with my upadhis. That should happen. What is the difference between my identification, my upadhi, and other? When I am identified my upadhi, all selfishness comes. I eat only for myself. I do things only for me. So the way of coming out of it is I do it for people around. But what is the vision? Enter universe. When my vision is for the universe becomes stronger and stronger, be attentive. Even in the practical world also, I am given opportunity to serve more and more. And the more people come around me and I continue serving, my identity expands from one to the total. And this can go up to the level of identifying with Mahat Brahma, whose only purpose is to serve totality. And in the totality serving, every individual is obviously taken care. Is it not? इस कॉलोनी के लिए पानी चाहिए तो बड़ा टंकी लगाओ. So it's a vision of totality. So for the entire colony, when the pani tanki is kept, it includes that every flat apartment of the colony people, they got the water. Hiranyagarbha works like that. Mahat Tattva works like that. We have to lift our identity to that. That is the only way to come out of problems, because problems are with me as individuality, with others are as individuality. ये जब तक चलेगा हजारों लाखों जन्म, तब तक हम दुखी ही रहेंगे. प्लीज फिक्स सम पॉइंट्स. कुछ कुछ ज्ञान में, कुछ कुछ जगह में ना, हमको फिक्स करना चाहिए. लाइक माई उपनिषद क्लास, आई विल गो एट एवरी कास्ट टिल आई डाई. फिक्स्ड. ही इज माई गुरु. फिक्स्ड. My goal is Paramatma, it is fixed. In the same way, this also you have to be fixed, that whenever we are at individual level, we quarrel and we suffer. Whenever we are suffering, the reason is because we are quarreling, and the quarreling is because we are at individual level. The only way to avoid the suffering is to avoid the quarrel. The only way to avoid the quarrel is to avoid the individuality. The only way to avoid individuality is associate our identity with totality. The quarreling here means the raga, dvesha, ityadi. I love someone, and that person loves somebody else, and that person loves somebody, and someone loves me whom I like, I don't like. Whole life is in this only. That is called samsara. And all this drama is happening only in the mind. And why the mind is functional in this way? That stupid mind, because it is alive. Why it is alive and active? Because the real self is not discovered. Before discovering the self, this mind has to be brought into control. That is done through working for the total. व्यष्टि से समष्टि, समष्टि से ही परा. ये उपनिषद में ऐसा पढ़ा रहे. In some other Upanishads, the samashti is not taken into account. From the Vesti to transcending the Apadis, the total is, the reality is shown. And it is possible. But in this Upanishad, this is the process. Clear? Now the Pankta Upasana. You understood so far? From the individual to the total, from the gross to the subtler. Our vision, our working should be. So the I in me should use my intellect to think, plan, work for the total is called as liberation from I using my intellect to work for this one particular upadhi which is called samsara. So clear? ये सुनने में कुछ एम्बेरेसिंग लगता है शुरुआत में बिकॉज वी आर लिविंग ओनली एट दिस बॉडी लेवल. आइडिया क्या था? एक इंडिविजुअल उपाधि से सोचने लगे, इसलिए एक इंडिविजुअल में उपाधि में धक्का दिए गए, हम फंस गए. नाउ वी स्टार्ट थिंकिंग फॉर द टोटल, वी आर रिजेक्टिंग आउट ऑफ इंडिविजुअल सफरिंग. दैट्स कॉल्ड द मीनिंग ऑफ योगक्षेमम वहामि. Those who are doing my upasana without ananya chinta, their yogakshema I will take care. That is what is the meaning of 22nd sloka, 9th chapter, Ananyas. What is the meaning of it? This is Mam means Mahat Brahma. The one who is serving the totality Mahat Brahma, what is required for the individual is taken care. You need not worry. If you worry only for this, you are buried under that worry because the endless thing it is. याद रखना, these are all subtle thoughts. I know it's difficult to catch. What do we need for the body? Health, long life, energy. Is it not? That the totality will give when we serve for the totality with this body. And what do? Want to become sukhi with the body. Body, one example. Body, mind, senses, सब add करो. While trying to become sukhi, all the nonsense we are doing. Because of which, instead of becoming sukhi, we are becoming dukhi with these upadhis only. After which we are never becoming effective for serving the total or doing spiritual sadhana. Now, what is the reverse gear? Serve the total. What is required for the individual is given. Don't demand anything. That's the meaning of serving total. Anandam in serving total. And you are serving and you are getting anandam. What about the individual? Its maintenance, yogakshema maham vahami. I will take care. What is said in Gita entirely is Mahat Brahma Upasana. Arjuna was caught up in individuality. मैं, मेरा चाचा, मेरा दादा, मेरा गुरु. Before that he came as my, मेरे भाई लोग, पांडव लोग, मेरा राज्य उन्होंने ले लिया, उनसे मैं मेरे राज्य को लड़कर छीन लूंगा. These are all individual samsara. What Lord taught, you do the yuddha for dharma, dharma is for totality, not for yourself. As regards the yuddha, that was explained. And your other dharma is to recognize yourself, which is universal self. Therefore, every chapter is yoga, yoga, yoga. Know your oneness with the Paramatma. Gita ka sara. So, in the Saptamanuvakam, Spashta Rupa, the initiation is given, training is given to visualize the world functional because of the sets of 5 called as Panktam. And through this Panktam, in and through this Panktam, who is working is that Virat, that Hiranyagarbha, that Mahat Tattva, that is total. And look from a standpoint. Work, there are two things. First, when we do the work exactly what he says in the beginning, thereafter we'll be lifted to a stage of thinking from what he thinks. पहले करो जो वो कहते हैं, बाद में जो सोच रहे हैं उस लेवल पे हम जाते हैं. That way when we start thinking like the Hiranyagarbha from the totality standpoint, we have become one with him. Okay, now what are the outer Adhibhuta Panktam 3 sets? I know you are thorough on it by now. What are the inner 3 Panktams? So the Loka Panktam, the Devata Panktam, the Bhuta Panktam outside. And they are, every individual in each Panktam is working, and all the 5 together coordinating and working, and each of the 3 Panktams are mutually working. And along with these 3, there are many other Panktams in the outer world. All put together is universe, and that is what Mahat Brahma doing. In the same way. And why all the purpose of his what? Only to express the glory, in that the joy. There is no other goal of gaining anything. जो गरीब बंदा है, जो फेलो पावर, इसको कोई लक्ष्य होता है कुछ करके कुछ पाने का. The person who has not eating the खाना नहीं है, hand to mouth भी नहीं है, he will only think about what money I get which if I do this work. But the one who is a multimillionaire, he doesn't work to get a money. He is working only to use his money. In the same way, at the totality level, working is आनंदम, not आनंदम के लिए वर्क करना. वो कॉन्सेप्ट निकल जाएगा वहाँ. Like what for Gurudev did the seva? Is it for Anandam? No, he was already Anandam. He was just doing the work of mission, not for Anandam. If he does the mission work for Anandam, he is a samsari only. Because nobody will give him Anand. उस दृष्टि से देखो, आनंद व्यक्त होता है, है ना, आनंद का अनुभव होता है. Like your own family, you identify with them, you serve them, you are happy, you don't expect anything. Because my family, I am doing it for them. That becomes, imagine करो इस स्थिति में आगे हम जहाँ we are only the givers of love, givers of service, seeking nothing and discovering happiness in that. When I say discover happiness in that, means happiness is there already, discover it. If it is not there, you won't discover. Totality के दृष्टि. So पृथिव्यंतरिक्षम द्यौर्दिशो वान्तरदिशाः लोकपांक्तम. Now, million times I may tell like this in the class, million times you listen and forget, it will remain as it is. Only when you take seriously at home and spend 10 minutes at least and think about all these lokapanktam, that something substantial is done by you, then only you understand what is told as sadhana. Prithvi, Antariksham, Dyauhu, Dishaha, Avantar Dishaha. First become aware of their existence, then become aware of their mutual coordination, then become aware of their great service in housing entire jivas in them. And this way, this Lokapanktam is made by Hiranyagarbha to house all the jivas, to place all the jivas, to give place for the jivas to stay, to travel, to first exist होना है ना. पहले जगह होना चाहिए ना. जैसे आपको ऑफिस ट्रांसफर हुआ, फर्स्ट मेरा कैबिन कहाँ है, कुर्सी क्या है. सो टू व्हेन एंटर बस और ट्रेन, वेयर इज माय सीट. पहले तो आपको बैठने का जगह चाहिए, सिक्योरिटी, लोक कहते हैं उसको, वर्ल्ड. सो ही मेड द प्लेस फॉर फर्स्ट टू स्टे. नाउ you are seeing what's happening in the world, you are acknowledging the contribution of Hiranyagarbha. So therefore, from the individuality, you are rising above. And so many so many thousands of consequences. If I enumerate all of them, it becomes a huge topic. For example, in whichever the place in the loka I am placed, I will know that he only placed me, and I know he placed me for my own betterment. Therefore I don't get disturbed by that particular loka. Rather, I make use of that place for my own evolution. बिकॉज सारे लोकपांग तो उन्होंने बनाया सारे जीवों के लिए. फिर जिस जीव को जहां भेजना है वही भेज रहे हैं. अ पार्ट ऑफ दैट इज मी, सो आई एम पुट हियर. So if I am in India, staying now in particular state, in this particular mohalla or gully, or in that particular flat, this is my loka now. Now, if I don't understand that Hiranyagarbha placed me here for my evolution, I fight with place. When I learn to fight with place, every place I start fighting only, because every place will have some or the other problem. Because problem is not with the place, problem is with my notion, because I started liking or disliking. What to do? Whichever the place I am placed is placed by him, and it is for my evolution. So how I have to use this place for my evolution, I will focus on that. इसलिए मैंने कहा सब्जेक्ट लंबा हो जाएगा एक एक एक्सप्लेन करते गए तो. But one day we have to understand it that way also, if not today. So, Lokapanktam, if you contemplate on, so many positive consequences come. You know the glory of the Lokas and their contribution. You know the glory of Mahat Brahma who made all of them. Then you understand that every Jiva placed in different places, in different Loka, by him in their own interest. And apart among them is I am also. And my Thikana, this is not permanent. Depending on my sadhana, I am consciously doing, therefore I am evolving, I will be promoted to different better places. If I am not at all doing this, I am only by staying this place, only doing the other lower or negative things. I'll be put into that place in my next janma. That loka will be given to. Prithvi antariksham dyaur disho va antardishas lokapangtam. And in that again antarikshame फिर यक्ष किन्नर किम पुरुष सिद्ध चारण, so many lokas are there. Adjacent to स्वर्ग लोक there, the नरक लोकास are there. तो वो सब बाद में बताएंगे आपको, पहले इतने फोकस करो कि पांगतम. We are here reveling in the Pankta exercise, Pankta practice. Practice of perceiving five, seeing their glory and attributing it to Mahat Brahma because it is a fact. Because you and I as an individual cannot make these lokas. हम तो क्या है ना चीज है. So to the second Devata Panktam. अग्निर्वायुरादित्यश्चंद्रमा नक्षत्राणि लोक देवता पांक्तम. Every devata and their contribution at the total level and mutual coordination. And the devata roop may be attentive. Mahat Brahma alone is expressing with their faculties. तो अग्निदेव के रूप में महत ब्रह्म ही ज्वलनम प्रकाशनम के रूप में व्यक्त कर रहे हैं. वायुदेव के रूप में महत ब्रह्म ओनली एक्सप्रेसिंग अ स्पर्शनम. वायु आकाश के रूप में वही व्यक्त कर रहे हैं, बाई गिविंग अवकाश प्लेस फॉर अदर्स टू स्टे. This is what the upasana we have to do. It becomes vague, it becomes abstract because we are never educated in this way. Our minds are filled with the illusory knowledge of the worldliness as a reality. That because of this external worldly education called ignorance, that the real education we are taking it as ignorance or unwanted. ये प्रॉब्लम है. हमने कभी पढ़ा नहीं ये वाला आत्मविद्या, ब्रह्म विद्या, तत्व विद्या, समष्टि विद्या हमें कहीं पढ़ा ही नहीं शुरू से लेकर अब तक. We are only taught which subject to study and how to use it for profession and get salary, eat and sleep and die. अब याद करो ये उपनिषद हम पहले से पढ़ रहे हैं 15-16 साल से. Now if your age is 80, in last 64 years you would have not only known the truth inside and would have served the whole world totally. Different ही होते थे हम. Never mind, better late than never, at least now. So, seventh Anuvaka, I am summarizing. It is Pankta Upasana of external and internal. The external three Pankta told, internal three Pankta told. Become aware of the presence of Pankta. Become aware of each individual in that Panktam, their greatness and contribution. Become aware of the contribution of the set of the Panktam. And know that this is how Mahat Brahma is working to that in serving the totality. So you also think like him for the thinking of totality, for the service of totality, then our identity becomes closer and closer to Mahat Brahma. Just like the lower bird and higher bird. The lower bird is eating its fruits but looking at the higher and slowly going up to one branch by the other. So subtly what must be happening at the inner bird? It is looking at the upper bird, lower bird, ऊपर को देख रहा है, कह रहा है ये तो बैठा है, चमक धमक रहा है, खुश है. मैं भटक रहा हूं, फ्रस्ट्रेटेड हूं और चमक धमक है ही नहीं मेरा, तो कैसे मैं भी उनके साथ एक हो जाऊं? You understand? In that way, in eating its own karma phala, that lower bird slowly rising in its status from that to the higher bird level. The moment it reaches to the higher bird, suddenly it merges in that, it becomes one with the total bird, just like the total bird was watching without any indulgence in its own pristine glory and happiness. So too, we, while going through our prarabdha like the lower bird, think from the standpoint of the upper bird called as Mahat Brahma, Hiranyagarbha. One day suddenly we merge in him. When we merge in him, our vision is of the totality. The moment our vision working becomes total, all the problems which were there only at the individual level get just dissolved. You know, this is a miracle. It will never be understood unless Guru Ishwara Krupa is there. And only in today's class. Those who missed today's class, they are unfortunate fellows. Just like मेरा नौकरी गया, मुझे नौकरी मिला. But you have the boss of the company, किसको भी नौकरी में निकालो, किसको भी रखो, फर्क नहीं पड़ता उनको. Because his purpose is not individual. His purpose is total company. Is it not? Anasnan anya vichakashiti is that one. Here also. So to the third one is Bhutapanktam. Apaha, Oshadaya, Vanaspataya, Akasha, Atma. Iti Adibhutam. Atha Adhyatmam. The Adhyatma Panktas, yesterday also we studied this only. The first, second we saw, third one of the Dhatu Panktam is that also we saw. But what, therefore, Rishi, who discovered all these Panktams, has proclaimed to the world as his achievement and sadhana to us. That we have not studied. Now, this Upanishad, if you go on deeply involving in studying many beautiful things, it reveals. Like in every Anuvaka, almost the name of Anrushi is coming. In every Anuvaka, the sadhana is told. Toward the end of the Anuvaka sadhana, the Falashruti is said. Very clear. Toward the end, you will see how it is a Phala of a realized saint, he will talk like that. Earlier Anuvaka, who came, first one में महाचमस्य आया, उन्होंने कहा भैया महा का उपासना करो. Is it not? Now in another Anuvakas, other rishis told and they gave their respective Falashrutis. In this Anuvakam, sixth one, seventh one, the Rishi, whoever has discovered it, he will tell us कि इस तरह से पांगत उपासना करो तो you get identity with the सार्वभौमत्व, with the totality. So to Pranav Upasana, so to the other Upasana. Then the rishis will come and they say, ये हमने किया, हमको ये फल मिला. Very beautiful this Upanishad. In that way. There is a dance is there, there is singing is there is shouting at pitch is there is exclaiming to others that I have done this, I got this result, please you also do. Like Mahachamasya told. To whom? प्राचीन योग्य. अरे प्राचीन योग्य, उपासना कर, देखो ऐसा करने से ये तुमको मिलेगा. This also we see, the next one also see, the rishi is coming and telling. So that means what? These higher states are tried by and achieved by rishis. They have experienced it. Then only they are telling us to do all that. Okay. Now the Bhuta Panktam is done. The Adhyatmika Panktam is the first one is the Prana Vayu Panktam. Then we saw the Indriya Panktam. Then the Dhatu Panktam. What is the Vayu Panktam? You remember it? Prano Vyano Pano Udana Samanaha. Prano Vyano Pano Udana Samanaha. Explained. Inside me, the Pancha Pranas are maintaining all my 9 functions of the body. And also these pranas are cause for working of my Jnanendriya, Karmendriya, and also my Antakarana. And also pushing me, the jiva, from this body to the other when I die, are holding me to be in this body as long as I am alive. This is happening not only in me, it is happening in every jiva. And in every jiva, in this way, the panchapranas are working with their powers, because of all the pranas are there in the samashti outside in the form of Vayu. And in the rupa of the Vayu, sustaining or substantiating every of the individualities by becoming the Panchaprana is none but the Hiranyagarbha Mahat Brahma only. So Mahat Brahma वायु बनकर, श्वास बनकर, प्राण बनकर सारे functionings को कर रहे. We are at the level of not even recognizing the pancha pranas. We are only busy in the expression of the gunas of the pranamaya kosha called as hunger and thirst. And that also indulging, that also lavishly, unrighteously. At such a stupid lowest level we are. What are the higher levels? I am feeling hungry. Where from the hunger is coming? What is the purpose of the hunger's arrival and why the hunger is coming? The purpose of hunger is to eat and drink so that the energy for the body comes. But how is it happening? Where is the hunger? It brings to pranamaya kosha. And what from it is coming? From the prana shakti. Where from it is coming? Means prana shakti kam ho raha hai, तो प्राणमय कोश को प्राण शक्ति चाहिए, तभी जाकर सारे इंद्रिया काम कर सकते हैं. और वो शक्ति at this level is in the food. So to remind us to eat the food to get the prana shakti to work, the Lord has put the system called as hunger and thirst. अब इतना दिमाग कौन लगा रहा है? इसलिए सड़ रहे हैं संसारी के रूप में. Then where is this prana shakti is available? In the Vayu. And who is in the Vayu Rupa? It is Mahat Brahma. And why this Mahat Brahma are doing all that? Only for the sake of universe. And beyond Mahat Brahma is Parabrahma. In him, all of these are not there, not required. He is in his own bliss. At the time, Samhrote Lokan Vadapatra Madhye is in his own blissful self. No world is expressed through him. So that Mahat Parabrahma only through his Maya he became Ishvara. That Parabrahma Ishvara only through the Mahat Tattva they became Mahat Brahma. In that Mahat Brahma, these gross subtle things at the total level are happening, of which we are studying now here as the PAAKTHA Paddhati, set of 555. So individual set of 5, other individual set of 5, and the individual sets of 5 have the substratum in the total, and the total began to Mahat Brahma. So the Vayu Panktam. So to Indriya Panktam. What are the 5 Indriyas? Chakshu, Shrotram, Mano, Vaktvaku. The ears, the eyes, the mind, the speech, and the skin. These are the 5 used. You can change your combination depending on each work. But Pankt ke upar dushti. 5 is a solid number, memorable, rememberable. That's why that is used. Don't fight again. Why not 4? Why not 6? Why not 9? Because any number say you will fight. If you don't want to fight, don't fight here. Just observe the Panktam existing and working. Do the Upasana. अरे उपासना क्या है? ये वर्ल्ड में जो हो रहा है पांक्त के द्वारा उसको देखो और ये सारा हिरण्यगर्भ के द्वारा हो रहा है ऐसे इमेजिन करो. हिरण्यगर्भ इज द थिंकर एंड एग्जीक्यूटर फॉर द टोटल. What is Jiva? Thinker and executor for the individual. In individual Jiva, there is only suffering. In the total Hiranyagarbha, there is no trace of even in Dukkha. ये बात है. And for the total Hiranyagarbha, all the resources to manage the total are always there. Therefore, इधर से इधर manipulate करते हुए, he can try to make everybody happy, and by that he is always happy. He doesn't bother about individual because the resources are there available. He just gives resources to whoever requires at that time. Anyway, there is a total functioning or kabhi. Now here the third one, Dhatu Panktam, is a Charma Mamsa Snava Asti Majja. Okay? These are the Pancha Dhatus which are making the body. Pancha Indriyas are making me perceive the world. Then the Pancha Pranas are helping me in digestion and all those 5 systems. Pancha Karma Indriyas are making work. And there 5 fingers are there to the hands to hold the things. 5 fingers are there also to the leg to protect from the destruction of the other part of the leg. In this way, pancha, 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 har jaga pancha. And the Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha are also pancha. Pancha Mahabhutas are pancha. Pancha Tanmatras also are pancha. In this way, observe the 555 and know that they are catering to the world, and the system is made by the Hiranyagarbha. He himself is functioning through all of them. सो क्या होना चाहिए अल्टीमेटली विजन? एक मैं ही हिरण्यगर्भ, मैं ही बहुत समष्टि बनकर मैं ही व्यष्टियों के रूप में भी एक्सप्रेस करने वाला लीला कर रहा हूं, जिसमें ना कुछ पाना है ना कुछ खोना है, ना कुछ लेना है ना कुछ देना है, ना कुछ बढ़ना है ना कुछ घटना है. दैट इज कॉल्ड लिविंग एट द महत ब्रह्म लेवल, which is not easy, not as is said now. We have to work on this for many, many years in lives. So, after saying so, Etadadir vidhaya rushiravochatu panktam va idagam sarvam panktenaiva panktaggaspurnotiti. This is the conclusion of this Anuvaka. In this, what I said is, this is what is said by the Rishi. What is said by him, I have observed thoroughly with all my special abilities. I came to know nothing, 2 things. The whole universe is done or maintained by the Panktam, and nothing other than the Panktam is there in this universe. Panktam va idagam sarvam. Everything is nothing but Panktam. Panktena eva panktaggaspurnoti. Because of the Panktam only all are working. Then the inner Panktam is dependent on the outer Panktam. Therefore the inner Panktam should always serve and surrender to the outer. This is what is that Rishi said. Of this, through the Bhashyam, when we come tomorrow, we study. After this, we enter into 8th, the Pranava Upasana Yukta Anuvaka. And that also very beautiful, very substantial. Then we are told to balance our sadhanas, upasanas with our vyavahara. And that is the, I tell you, the height of the beautiful teaching of this Upanishad. Rutam cha swadhyaya pravacane cha satyam cha. And thereafter, again, aham vrukshare sireriva, through that more commitment for the absolute truth. With this conviction, you go out and continue your work, and then as you are with this clarity working in the world, in the evolutionary period, you yourself will be given by the Lord an opportunity exclusively to pursue the Parabrahma. At that time, you come to me or any guru, then they teach you Brahma Vidya. Brahma Vida Apnoti Param. This is how the second Valli starts. Before the second Valli, what is taught in the Prathama Valli is all these, each one interconnected upasanas or sadhanas. फिर से हम पढ़ेंगे ये सारा फर्स्ट वल्ली होने के बाद मे बी ए वन कंप्लीट क्लास वी विल टेक to summarize how each of the Anuvaka was talking each of the Upasana, and all of them when done sequentially put together, how they lead to us for qualification for meditation on the truth. Seeing this in the disciple, Guru teaches him Brahma Vida Apnoti Param. तदेशाभ्युक्ता सत्यम ज्ञानमनंतम ब्रह्म यो वेद निहितं गुहायां परमे व्योमन सो ओष्णुते सर्वान् कामान् सह ब्रह्मणा विपश्चितेति. These three mantras of the first Anuvaka of the second Valli is the crux of this Upanishad. That is a crux, that is a goal. How to achieve that goal is taught in the subsequent Anuvakas, and to come to that level, what has to be done to become qualified is taught in the Anuvakas of the first Valli. That is how this Upanishad is very beautiful, very clear, very exhaustive. Only thing is, we have to be regular, sincere, consistent, and applying our mind intellect while listening, and little of the homework when we do, then we will understand its glory. Okay. See you tomorrow in our next class. The subject will continue. Om 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 Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Paramarashibhyo Namaha. Parabrahmane Namaha. Shrutimatre Namaha. Om Tat Sat Brahmarpanamastu. Thank you all. Please stay back for our 10 minutes of study on Viduraniti. ये भी एक कमिटमेंट है. Whenever you get bored of Bhakti Jnana Vedanta, you can listen to these online. It will help you.